Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Monk or Monk Trader here, and today we're gonna be going over funding ticks. Yeah, it's just be a nice and concise video where I'll try to give you guys as much information on this new prop firm as I can. Just like everything from the different plans that they have, the pricing, their payout rules. Yeah, just like I said, a little bit of everything. I was kind of browsing on YouTube, because I was really excited to trade with these guys and didn't really find any videos that kind of got straight to the point on the different rules that they had. Because there is kind of like a lot. I'm not gonna lie, this video kind of took a little bit of prep, so I appreciate you guys like and subscribe or whatever people say. But yeah, before we get started though, make sure you guys join my Discord, of course. Before you guys join, make sure you guys click this check mark so you guys will be able to view all the different channels. I kind of go live almost every morning, and I've been on a nice win streak. I haven't lost a single trade on stream. I did lose trades, but not on stream in the past couple weeks, so that is nice. So you guys ever want to tune in for the live streams, I'm pretty much live on YouTube 9:30 New York, right? As well as make sure you use all my codes, Monk, that's sometimes with 2Ks or 3Ks, you guys will see in this video a little bit. But yeah, let's get straight into it. All right, guys, so now let's kind of dive into what they currently have to offer over at FundingTicks. Basically, at the moment, they have up to $300,000 in trading capital at the moment. And there's a couple ways you guys can go about the $300,000. They offer 3 different account sizes. So if you guys wanted to trade maybe 3 of the 100K accounts, you guys are able to do that. Me personally, I would prefer like the 50K, so you guys could probably do up to 6 of the 50K accounts. As long as it's like within the $300,000 allocation, you guys are good to go. And for now, we're going to be focusing on the Pro Plus as well as the zero accounts. So if you guys have traded with My Funded Futures or Tradeify, the Pro Pluses are basically just growth accounts, meaning there's only one evaluation, and if you guys pass, there's no activation fee. That's pretty much it. You guys are funded and good to go. And then basically the zeros are going to be the straight to funded accounts. So if you guys want to skip the entire evaluation phase and just want to get funded right away, you guys are able to do that. The one I will talk about at the very end of the video, this is a relatively new account that honestly I don't like it, but if you guys wanted to trade it, you guys are good to go. But yeah, like I said, I'll get right into all the details at the moment, but they kind of call it a couple different things. The evals are called student accounts on FundingTicks, as well as the master accounts are like the funded accounts. I don't know why they called it that, but hey, let's get straight into it. All right, guys, so now hopefully you guys understand why this video took a little bit too much prep for me, but I hope you guys appreciate the quick info and everything on your screen like at once. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So the pricing on the different accounts, the 25Ks are $99 without any discounts, $64 if you guys use my code MONK. That's with 3Ks. I don't know why. Just use my code. As well as, so the 50Ks on the Pro Plus accounts, there are 2 different 50Ks that you guys will be able to purchase. I'll get into that in a little bit, but just know the 5K is like you'll be able to secure more of a payout rather than the 1K payout cap. That's what they kind of call it. It is cheaper on the 1Ks, but yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know. The 150Ks are $199 base, and then $129 with the discount. So now let's get straight into the valuation. This is kind of what you guys probably going to be looking for. So on the 25Ks, you guys will be able to trade up to 2 contracts. The profit target on these are going to be $1,500, right? And the great thing about FundingTicks is it's end of day drawdown. It is not trailing drawdown, so you guys do not have to worry. It's not like Apex where the trailing drawdown will like blow your account even though you're in profit. It's end of day. It's similar to Top Step, similar to My Funded Futures, right? If you guys traded with them, so you guys don't have to worry. It's end of day. It's not going to be trailing. You guys are good. The 50Ks are 4 contracts that you guys could trade up to, as well as the profit target on these are only 2,500, which is big. If you guys know anything about the 50K accounts on in the future space, most of the profit targets are $3,000. That's the same on Top Step, Apex, Tradeify, My Funded Futures. So these guys have it $500 less, which is awesome, as well as the $2,000 end of day drawdown, right? All of these are going to be end of day drawdown. There is no trailing drawdown whatsoever on FundingTicks. Yeah, and then the 150Ks are going to be 8 contracts, profit target $6,000, end of day drawdown $3,000. And basically, you guys, the only drawback is it's not 1 day to pass. It's going to be 3 minimum days to pass and 40% consistency rules. I know a lot of people like to try to pass their funded accounts in 1 day. Boo-hoo, you got to trade 3 days. There you go. The good thing is though, you guys can trade news. However, there is no holding overnight. That's pretty much all there is to the evaluation. So as long as you guys stick with these rules, you guys are good to go. All right guys, so now let's get straight into the funded rules. So basically on the Pro Pluses, like I said, there are no activation fees. So once you pass your eval, you guys are good to go. There's no hidden fee. And similar to my funded futures, I believe, you guys are able to request a payout every 5 days. There is kind of a contingency with this, which is like you need to be profitable, like on like $150 every 5 days or something to request payout. I'll get into it in a little bit. And one of the things that I've heard people don't really like about FundingTicks is the 90-10 profit split. They have a 90-10 profits rule right out the gate. As soon as you start trading with them, there's a 90-10 profit split. And you know, I know on other firms like Apex or whatever, you guys get to keep like the first 25K that you guys make before they have like any sort of profit split. FundingTicks, there's a profit split right away, 90-10 rule, right? So just keep that in mind. They also introduced something new, which I haven't seen in any of the futures prop firms that I've been trading, is something called, they call it a reward cap. It's literally just a payout cap. Reward and payout are kind of synonymous with these guys. They call it a reward cap, where you can only withdraw 60% of your profits, right? So up to $5,000, right? So this is kind of what I was talking about, the $5,000 and the $1,000 over here. Like I said, I'll get into it a little bit. FundingTicks also has a no red folder news trading rule. This is pretty standard across the industry. You guys cannot trade 1 minute before and 1 minute after big red folder news events. If you guys somehow manage to break this rule, they're not going to breach your account or anything like that. They're just going to deduct their profits that if you guys made money, right, from your account. That's pretty much it. You're not going to get failed for your funded account or whatnot. So you guys don't have to worry about that. And there's another rule which is it kind of depends on the trader. It doesn't really affect me, but if you guys are kind of like really micro scalpers, just be wary that 50% of your trades must be over 10 seconds, right? So whatever trades you guys take, they have to last longer than 10 seconds. You guys can't just like be in and out of a trade and whatnot. And another thing that I've heard people not like about FundingTicks is your account will be in an inactive status if you guys haven't traded within 7 calendar days. I don't know if it deactivates your account, but it just gets marked as inactive and you guys won't be able to trade it probably. All right guys, so now for the payouts, there are basically just 2 rules that you guys have to be able to reach. Is 5 minimum profitable trading days. This kind of varies with what account you guys went with, as well as reaching the break even on your drawdown, right? So basically what I mean by reaching break even is whatever your end of day drawdown was on the valuation phase, you guys need to make that certain amount before you guys can request a payout, right? They want to see you get to your break even status before you guys are able to request a payout, right? So on the 25Ks, right? On the 25Ks, as long as you guys get to over $1,000 of profit, you guys could be able to request a payout, as well as long as you guys have over 5 days of over $100, right? The 50Ks are $150, and as long as you get over $2,000, you guys will be able to request a payout. And on the 100Ks, as long as you get $200 a day for 5 days and are over $3,000 in profit, you guys will be able to request a payout. I don't know if there's a consistency rule. I don't believe so. I only believe it's on the eval phase, but I'll have to fact check that. Let me know in the comments if you guys are able to figure that out. But I believe these are the only 2 rules that when it comes to the Pro Pluses. All right guys, so now I kind of just want to go over some examples of the 60% profit payout cap, or whatever you want to call it, that I was talking about over here, the reward payout cap, right? So let's just kind of go over the different examples. I have an example for each account, right? Each account size. So on the 25Ks, right? Like I said, the requirement for a payout, you need 5 days of at least $100, right? And to be able to reach your break-even drawdown, right? Which is $1,000, right? So let's say a trader makes $2,500 in profit, right? And they're able to withdraw, right? You are only able to withdraw 60% of that $2,500, right? Because as long as you're over $1,000 in profit, you have 5 trading days, right? You guys can withdraw, right? Multiply 0.6 by whatever your profit is at the moment, right? And that's how much you guys were able to withdraw, right? So basically, after the payout split with the FundingTicks, right, which is 90%, you guys will be able to take home $1,350, right? So I hope that makes sense. Like I said, $2,500 in profit, you guys are only able to withdraw 60% of that profit, right? And then not only that, they take a you guys get to keep 90%, they take 10%, right? So you guys basically walk away with $1,350. And then for the 50K examples, this is gonna be a little bit more complicated. It's not too complicated. This is kind of what I was talking about with the 5Ks and 1K payout caps over here. There are two different options when you guys decide to buy a 50K Pro Plus account. You guys are able to buy the one with a 5K payout cap as well as the 1K payout cap, right? So depending on which one you get, you guys could withdraw more when it comes to your payout. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So like I said, for the 50Ks, 5 days, as long as you have $150 a day, right? And you guys reach the break-even drawdown, which is $2,000. So scenario one, let's say this trader is trading moderately, you know, they're trading decent. It's nothing crazy, and they make $3,000 in profit, right? They're eligible for a payout of that $3,000 at 60%, right? So that's basically just gonna come out to $1,800. And after the 90-10 split that FundingTicks has, right, they will come home with $1,620, right? Okay, for scenario B, let's say a trader wins pretty big, and you know, this is where the payout cap kind of comes in. I just kind of want to show you guys. Let's say a trader's been, you know, doing pretty good and they somehow manage $10,000 in profit. When they go to request a payout, they're only eligible for 60% of that, which is $6,000. But it's kind of capped at $5,000 because when you go to purchase an account with the Pro Pluses on the 50Ks, this is only with the 50Ks. There is a $5,000 option, which is more expensive, as well as the $1,000 option where you're capped at $1,000. I would personally, if you guys are, you know, consistent traders and have been getting payouts, go with the $5,000. That way there's a bigger buffer from whatever you guys can request. So these guys are requesting $6,000. It's capped at $5,000. You can't request more than that. And then after the split, the trader receives $4,500. And then for the final example on the 100Ks, it's 5 days of at least $200, right? They reach their break-even drawdown, $3,000 profit. So let's say the trader earns $8,000 of profit, right? They're able to withdraw 60% of that $8,000, which is $4,800, and this is still under the $5,000 cap on all accounts. So, you know, after the split, they receive $4,320, and yeah, that's basically it. All right, guys, so now let's go over the FundingTicks Zero accounts. So these are basically the straight to funded accounts that you guys are familiar with. Let's go over the pricing real quick. So base prices on all of these are $333, $499, and $599. After you guys use a discount code, make sure you use my code. Like I said, it's going to be $216, $324, and $389. And the rules on the straight to funded are pretty simple. It's straightforward. You guys are allowed to trade news on these straight to funded accounts, which is nice if you guys want to do that. But they basically have just two rules. Just don't go below your max drawdown. So on the 25Ks, you guys only have $1,000 of drawdown to work with, and there is a 25% consistency rule. Nice, so just keep that in mind. And you guys are allowed one contract on the 25Ks. On the 50Ks, the max drawdown is going to be $2,000, 25% consistency rule. You guys are allowed 3 contracts. On the 150Ks, the max drawdown is going to be $3,000. Like I said, all of these are going to be 25% consistency, and then you're also allowed 5 contracts on the 150Ks, right? So basically how the payouts work on these accounts are every 7 trading days. It's literally just every 7 trading days, and you get a 90% profit split. There is no like 7 days, like 5 of them have to be winning days. It's just 7 trading days, and there is no buffer basically. As long as you guys are below the consistency rule, you guys are able to request a payout. On the 25K accounts, you guys are basically only capped at $1,000 for a payout. As you guys go along and finally reach the 4th payout, on some accounts on the 50Ks, you guys will be able to request $500 extra. So you see how it's $2,500, $2,500, $2,500, and then you guys are able to request $3,000 on 100K accounts. The only one where you don't get an increase after your 4th payout is the 25K accounts. But on the 50K accounts, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, and then it jumps an additional 500 on your 4th payout. That is pretty much it for the straight to funded accounts. All right, guys, so now this is everybody's favorite, you know, getting put onto a live account, the gulag, if you want to call it, of trading. You guys are basically stuck there, but there's a couple ways FundingTicks can transition you into live. Actually, there's only 2 ways. It's either if you guys have reached $200,000 in payouts. So that is their payout cap, right? $200,000, which is a lot higher than other firms. I'm not gonna lie. On my funded futures, I believe it's $100,000. So it's kind of double of that right now. So that's one way you guys could get put into live. The second way is if you guys are just really consistent and they kind of deem you a really good trader, they will just move you live at any time. And the thing is, you guys cannot opt out of this transition. You guys, if they say you get put in live, you're gonna get put in live. There's no say, hey, I don't want to get put in live. No, you guys are put in live. Good luck, bro. All right, guys, so now let's get into the benefits. It's pretty much similar to all the other live Propfirm live funded accounts. So you will be able to get daily payout requests. You know, you could trade how you want. There's no rules basically. Like I said, no restrictive rules. You could set your daily loss limit if you want. I know some traders trade really aggressively. They don't really do that. And there is an 80-20 profit split. The big thing is, which I don't think I've seen, is the account growth. So basically every time you generate 100% of your account's profit, FundingTicks will come in and deposit 20% of that profit into your account. So I'll give you guys examples. I know that sounds kind of confusing, right? Let's say your starting account balance on a live funded account is $10,000, right? If you made $10,000, FundingTicks will come in and deposit 20% of that. So that in that case, or sorry, in this case, it would be $2,000. So now your new balance would be $12,000, and it kind of just repeats itself. So now since your new balance is going to be $12,000, right? If you can somehow make $12,000, FundingTicks will come in and make a 20% deposit into your account, right? So now this live account becomes $14,400, and it kind of just, the cycle repeats itself. So that is something pretty cool that I haven't seen other prop firms do. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this entire video. Like I said, the other account, I'm not gonna go over, bro. It's too much fucking work. But make sure you guys use my code MONK. That's with 3Ks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys learned something about FundingTicks. That's great. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.